Welcome students. Let us understand transportation in plants. The transportation system in plants is less complex than animals. They are not so active than animals, so the materials required are not so frequently. Due to the branching of plants, all the cells do not get oxygen and carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere by simple diffusion process. Hence, the materials are supplied in plants by a transport system. Plants have two types of conducting tissue that help in transportation, one xylem and phloem. Students, let us look at a diagram. We can briefly understand how transportation takes place in plant. In this diagram, we can understand there are two types of conducting tissue present in this tree. One xylem, which is getting water and minerals from the soil to upward direction, and another which is called phloem. It is getting the materials from the leaves and taking in different direction, in upward direction as well as in downward directions. That means xylem is a conducting tissue that carries water and minerals from the soil to all parts of the body, all parts of the plant body, but phloem carries the synthesized food and some other substances to various parts of the plant, whether it is in downward direction, in upward direction, or in lateral directions. Now we will discuss in details how the transportation exactly occurs in plants, how plants conduct all the materials required for it. Students, look at the xylem and phloem definitions. These are the tissue that helps in transportation of water and minerals from soil to all parts, known as xylem. Then phloem, this tissue conduct food and other substances in plants. Students, the transportation in plants can be divided into two parts. In first part, the transportation of water and minerals. In second, transportation of food and other substances. Now we will see how water is transported. Students, look at the transportation of water and minerals. Students, water is an important raw material needed for photosynthesis, from which the plants take molecular oxygen and hydrogen for synthesis of carbohydrates. The transportation of water and minerals involve three processes. One, absorption of water and minerals. Second, upward movement of water and minerals. Third is transpiration. Let us understand one by one. First process, absorption of water and minerals. Let us understand how water and minerals are absorbed by the plants. Students, in land plants absorb water from the soil. The water is absorbed actively by the potential difference between the soil solution and the root hairs. The water molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration from cell to cell and finally reaches at xylem vessels and tracheids. Similarly, the minerals move from higher potential pressure of the soil solution to the lower potential pressure of the cell. In this way, water and minerals reach xylem vessel and trachea of the root and ready to move upwards. Now, the upward movement of water and minerals. Students, there are two theories have been put forward to explain the upward movement of water and minerals. The first theory is root pressure theory and the second one is cohesion tension theory or transpiration pull. Students, let us understand what is root pressure theory, how it explains the movement of water and minerals. According to this theory, the root absorbs water and exerts a pressure which pushes the water upwards. Through the root hairs, the water is absorbed from the soil and after absorption, it will get accumulated in cell and exert a pressure so that the water can move upwards. This theory is applicable in small herbs, but it may not be applicable for tall trees. In the next theory, that is cohesion tension theory, this theory is also known as transpiration pull. It helps to explain the upward movement of water in tall trees. The main force responsible for the upward movement of water is transpiration pull, generated in leaves, which pulls the water column filled in xylem, trachea and vessels. Students, we should understand the xylem. It is a continuous tube-like channel extends from the soil to the aerial part. Let us understand, when we drink any soft drinks through straw, we exert a suction pressure at the tip of the straw that helps to move up the fluid column present inside the bottle. In this way, the fluid column present in the xylem, it moves up by the transpiration pull. Now the third one is transpiration. Most of the water absorbed by plant are lost during transpiration. Only 2 to 3% water used in photosynthesis. Transpiration occurs through stomata, which are the tiny pores present at the lower surface of the leaf mostly, which are covered with a pair of bean-shaped guard cells that regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Students, we have understood the upward movement of water. Now, transportation of food and other substances. Students, the synthesis of carbohydrate and other metabolites occurs in leaves. Similarly, hormones are also synthesized at the tip of the shoot and root. Hence, these food, hormones and other substances are transported to all parts for respiration and others through phloem. As we know, phloem is another conducting tissue that runs parallel to the xylem. The wall of the sieve tube of the phloem possesses an area which allows the soluble substances to pass through it. The sieve tubes are living cells without a nucleus but active protoplasm. The transportation of food and other substances in upward, downward and lateral direction. This transportation of food from leaves to different part is called translocation. Students, this is the way the transportation takes place in plants. Thank you very much. In the next part of the video, we will come with another life processes excretion.